Hey, what's up, guys? Hoping you're having a good day. I am here in my office, and we actually have a very short video. At least I think it's gonna be short. It's only like 6 hands. It was a 3-hour session, and I just ended up crushing. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get more hands for you guys, but it's a video. I figured, hey, not all sessions have to be long. You don't have to have 10 plus hands in everyone. So I hope you guys enjoy. This is a very quick session, 3 hours. I got 6 notable hands in. So let's get to the video and see how it went. All right, guys, the very first hand we are looking at, we are in the big blind. Look down and see Queen 10 suited. There's a $5 under the gun straddle. A few people do decide to call. And finally, when action gets back around to me, considering I am the big blind, I have 40% of a royal flush, I decide to raise it up to $25. Under the gun makes the call, middle position makes the call, and we are shorthanded because the game just started off, so that's why under the gun is followed by middle position. Hijack makes the call as well, and then the button player folds, who had called the original 5, and the small blind player eventually folds as well. So we are starting off with $110 in the pot, going to a board, which hopefully will hit this Queen 10 suited, which I love. It's a beautiful hand. Flop comes out 9-7 Jack rainbow. So we flop open-ended and a backdoor flush draw. Under the gun goes all in for 122. Oh, a little bit over pot, nothing too crazy. It's kind of one of those situations where it's like, all right, I mean, I'm open-ended. I do have an over, which is the queen. So if he has ace jack, maybe our queen's still good. And, I have runner flush outs too. So I do want to see another card, but for 122 into 110, it's kind of one of those coin flips. I can definitely fold and wait for a better spot. Middle position does fold his cards and get out of the way. And it is on the hijack player. I've already decided pretty much in my mind that, if the hijack player calls, I'm much more incentivized to call as well because he has another 160 behind after he makes the call. Therefore, there's more money in the pot, increasing my odds of calling and getting the right percentage to hit. So the more money that is in the pot, the better your percentages are, if that makes sense, without going into too much like nerdy, poker talk. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I don't look at solvers or anything like that. Hijack makes call, actions on me. And I don't do too much nerdy stuff on this channel, but I do look at percentages and I do look at how many outs I have and try to make the best educated decision I can for myself. So that's about the extent of my poker knowledge outside of having hours upon hours upon hours of playing for years, decades. Other than that, that's the only knowledge I have. Just, out in the streets, grinding it out. And that's what I try and, give to you guys. Is it always the right information or the most optimal way to go? Probably not. But I don't think you guys watch this channel for optimal. I think you watch it for entertainment. I make the call. Pot's $476. Hoping for a king, 8, or diamond on the turn. And believe it or not, we bank the king of diamonds. I go all in for 160 effective. I have about 180, but our opponent only has 160. That is why it's 160 effective, because that is his stack size. He makes the call, and we're going to a river 796, and it is an inconsequential deuce of spades. We have the absolute nuts, and we are scooping this $796 pot, almost $800 pot to start off the night. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the heater does not stop for the entire night. We just keep getting hands and hitting cards. So let's go on to the next one and see what transpires. All right, guys, so we're on the button this time. Look down and see ace jack offsuit. The table is starting to fill up. So when I'm in position like this, I tend to raise less than when I'm out of position. So if I'm, going to play this hand from the small blind, let's say, I would probably raise to 15, but since I'm on the button, I only raise to 10. Small blind does make the call, and the reason I do that is because I have position, so I can more easily take this pot down with a C bet from here than I can from the small blind. Hijack makes the call, and middle position player calls as well, going 4 ways to this flop, which comes out ace high, ace 3-4 rainbow. So we flop top pair with the jack kicker. All in all, when action checks to me, this is going to be the best hand most of the time. So I decided to bet $20 into a $40 pot, half pot bet, because there's not too many cards that I am concerned about. Middle position player makes the call, and we're going heads up to the turn, $80 inside of this pot that I really want to take down. Turn comes in, it is the Bank Jack of Hearts. We are definitely ahead now, in case he had some weird two pair like Ace 3, Ace 4, which I doubt he did. I just think he has a weaker ace than us. So I bet he calls, and there's 160 in the pot going onto the river, which in my opinion changes nothing at all. It is the 4 spades. I think that he has an ace, so I'm gonna bet $60. I honestly probably could have sized up because there's 160 in the pot. I could have bet like, I don't know, $85, $90, because any ace probably thinks they're chopping. He makes the call pretty quickly. I let him know we have ace jack. We beat all ace king, ace queen, any other aces besides ace 4. So I think I could have sized up a little bit, but got paid $280 coming our way. I guess I can't complain, but definitely something I can adjust and do better on in the future. On to the next hand. All right, guys, this is a weird hand just from start to finish, in my opinion. It's one of the stranger ones that I've played. I'm in the small blind, look at queen 10 offsuit. Under the gun, raise it up to $10. Middle position makes a call. Gets around to a cutoff player. He decides to call as well. And I make the call for $10. And then the big blind raises it up to 20. It actually doesn't look like he raised there, so I don't know. Under the gun somehow got actually going to raise to 20. Anyway, somehow I got raised to 20. I don't know. I'm just reading off of my notes, but I made a mistake somewhere. Basically, there's 5 people in there at $20 each, so the pot's at $100. Flop comes out, nothing amazing. 8, 9, 9, 2 spades. So basically, we flop a gut shot along with runner straight flush. Yeah, it's a thing. Okay. Under the gun bets $20. Cutoff player makes the call. I make the call as well, because that doesn't mean he has a 9. Doesn't even mean he has an 8. Doesn't mean all kind of things. Even if he does have an 8, we have a ton of outs. 4 clubs comes on the turn, screeching all action to a complete halt when it checks all the way around. River comes out, and this is where things are kind of weird. Queen of clubs. I hit the queen. I feel like queen's good. I don't feel like anyone has a backdoor flush or a 9 with the way that the action went. So I bet $50 into 160. It's a less than a third pot bet. Under the gun player has his chips in the hand, puts him back into his stack like he's, gonna call it first. He's whittling him around. He's like, I'm gonna call. I don't know. Puts him back in his stack. I'm like, okay, he's gonna fold now. And I'm just hoping he calls at this point. With the way his demeanor is, how he's acting, I feel like I have the best hand, and I'm just praying that he calls. He does go back and flick in the $50 chips for a call, and action gets back around to the cutoff player. Now, this player is in the tank as well, and he is saying that the action is strange. He's, which I kind of agree with. The action's a little bit weird. I could have Jack 10 here, though. I could have a 9. Yeah, I could have all kind of very strong hands. Now I have Queen 10, so I block Jack 10. But do I think someone has Jack 10? I don't know. I think it's possible. But that's why I bet less than a third pot. I can bet this and go for thin value. And if I get raised, then lay it down. I don't want someone jamming in my face and putting me in a very tough spot. If I check to them, I would rather show strength than show weakness. The cutoff player eventually does say that he's going to fold. And he tells me he folds ace queen. So the other opponent had a weaker queen, so we beat him. We have him out kicked, and we got the player with a better queen to fold. So very strange hand, showing how aggression can sometimes win you the pot. Anyways, 260 coming our way. On to the next one. All right, guys, for next hand, we look down from the small blind and see pocket queens, an actual premium, man. I feel like I don't get these too often, if I'm being honest with you. We get a few callers, and it gets back around to me. Of course, I'm going to be raising up. Like I explained to you guys in previous hands and on other vlogs, I'm out of position, so this time I'm raising it up to 15. It's not because I have pocket queens. It's because of my position on the table. Hijack makes the call. Action gets back to the button player, who is, going to make the call as well. 3 ways to this flop, and I am out of position. Out of position with cards, it just makes it harder to play. That's why you want to play most hands in position. But with queens, it is what it is. I got to play what I'm getting. 6, 10, 5 comes out, 2 clubs, so pretty dynamic board, and I size up to 30 when there's 45 in the pot. When there's 2 clubs, straight draws, things like that, you're supposed to be, sizing up and charging your opponent to hit those draws. Hijack makes the call. Action gets to the button player. She is talking to someone else and very distracted, so we wait for a second for her to act. Eventually, she does make a decision, And that decision is to fold. It's to fold her cards. It takes her a little bit, but she does get there in the end. Now, because this board is so dynamic, I'm not wanting to see half the cards in the deck. I don't want to see any club. I don't want to see any straight connectors. I don't want to see anything like that. So, when the dealer peels off the 9 of clubs on the turn, all my hopes and dreams are shattered. It completes the most obvious straight 7-8 and the front door flush. Action goes check, check, which makes me feel a little better until the 10 of hearts comes on the river. Also, the worst card to see. Action goes check, check. I let him know I have queens. It is in fact good, and this is why do you want to play hands in position. In position, maybe I get another value bet, get another street for my queens, but out of position, all I can do is check call. So 105. Coming our way on to the next hand. All right, guys. Look down and see Ace-Jack offsuit on this one. We're in the hijack. I raise it up to $15. I know it goes against everything I've been saying, but the game has been a little spicy, so I kind of feel like raising it up a little bit more. Action gets around to the big blind. He min-clicks me to $30. I actually don't think he saw my raise, which is a little bit intimidating because he's not the type to min-click. But for a min click, I'm definitely going to call, and we're going to see what unfolds on the flop. Comes out 6-9 Jack Rainbow. He checks it to me. I check it back just in case he's trapping. No need to bloat the pot. He only has like $90 behind. I mean, if it's getting all in, it's getting all in. Deuce of hearts on the turn. I bet $40. He does, in fact, decide to rip that stack into the mill for $90. Of course, I got to make this call. I can't fold after I bet. So I put the chips in. We probably could have done this on the flop. This gentleman only goes once, so that is what we're going to do. Now, he says he has ace king, so we're already ahead. Just fading a king, and when a jack comes on the river, that pretty much seals his fate. $240 pot being won, sucking out on ace king, running like a god is how you win poker. That's the best tip I can give you guys. Just run good. Let's go on to the final hand of the night. All right, guys, final hand. It is a wee bit crazy. We are playing Omaha. We have a $5, $10, and $20 straddle out there. Oh, look down and see ace 7-7-6 with the ace being suited. I make the call, button makes the call, and then it gets to the big blind player who makes it $125. Oh, it's gonna be a big pot. Sometimes you just feel that big pot energy out there, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Omaha can make or break your night. So this game we're playing, it has a reverse button. So once per rotation, we play a hand of Omaha. And that one hand of Omaha can literally make your night or break your night depending on how it goes. Under the gun player makes the call, gets around to the hijack player. He goes all in for 75. I call the 125, and it's back to the button player. Now, the button player, I don't think he's new to poker, so he was asking some questions. I didn't really understand what was going on. He was asking basically if action was still open. That's what I thought he was asking. And he's the last one to act, so no, action wouldn't still be open. He's the last one to act, but what he was asking is he had about, $100 behind. He was asking if that would still be in play if he makes the call, which was a little strange to me considering, like I said, I think he's played poker and he's familiar with the game. I mean, if you have money behind, it's in play. It's not like we just raise pre-flop and, you don't play for the rest of your stack and it's safe. That's not how poker works. Now, if everyone's all in, there's no more action, but I don't know, it's weird. Maybe he was confused. Maybe all the action was a little strange. I don't know what happened, but it was very confusing to me. Maybe he's new. Maybe I was mistaken and he's not familiar with the game. But it was just something that was a little bit strange, and I don't know, I just wanted to point out because it was unusual and I'm not used to on the poker table. With that being said, if he just didn't know and he was new, we were very accommodating. We let him know, that's still going to be in play. So he actually ended up deciding on waiting for a better spot. These were his words, and he ended up folding his cards. So, good for him. I think if you're not sure, then that's the way to go. He only had $20 invested. So, all in all, wait for a better spot. Live to die another day, is so they say. Dealer's getting all the pots right because we do have action on the side. Flop comes out, and it is a pretty okay flop. It's one of those flops that are either good or really bad for us. Flop comes out, and it is ace, ace, 3. So we flop trips. action does check around to us, so that's always a good feeling. Either someone has, ace 3 in there, you have a boat and they're slow playing, or they don't have the ace. So I go all in, which is basically for 215 effective. That is how much the under the gun player has. Big blind player made the fold, and we're just waiting for him to act. Now, this player is normally fast acting. As you can see, he's on his phone right now, so he's texting someone, talking to someone. I'm not sure what he's doing, but this player normally acts within 5 seconds. I mean, he always knows what he's going to do. So I just wait patiently. It's a big pot. It's his entire stack. That I don't think he cares about at all. Once he realizes it's on him, he throws his chips in the middle for 215. So we're going to a run out. Hopefully he doesn't have an ace, because we have 2 7s, which makes it harder to get a full house. And if he does have an ace, we are very far behind. $900 in the middle. It would be really nice to win this one. Come on, dealer. Let's see what we got. And I'm going to give you guys an up-close view so you see how it plays out in real time. Turn comes in, it is the 3 of hearts, and the river is the bink. That is right, 6 of diamonds. So we have the nut full house. Aces full of 6s. We cannot be beat. All we can do is chop. All the fears of a higher ace go floating away as we river the absolute nuts. I guess pocket 3s is absolute nuts, but no one has pocket 3s. Spoiler alert, we're scooping this $900 pot to end the night. And I gotta be honest with you guys, it feels pretty good. I've been on a bit of a heater. I'm sure the comments are gonna be like, bro, you misplayed this hand and you misplayed that hand. You should have called 125 with this garbage. I mean, you're not wrong, but this is a table where we give action. We're buddies. We're not going to play tight. We're not going to be on lockdown. So that's what I did. Ended up working out for me this time. 125 wrist it and won a $900 pot. Let's go to the outro and see how we did. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed that. Definitely some action-packed hands, and then some, hands where nothing happened when I thought they would, when I had pocket queens. Thought that'd be a much larger pot, ended up being one of the smallest pots I played of the night that I actually won. So you guys want to know what I was in for. I was in for 300, cashed out for 1,500, so $1,200 profit, and I only played for 3 hours. That's $400 an hour. Not too bad of a wage. I'll definitely take it. If you guys like what you're seeing, you enjoy the content, do me a favor, drop us up. Catch you guys on the next one.